so cool.
Here comes Bill.
I'm excited because it has a new villain, and it takes a lot of swings, which is really awesome. Like, not a lot of sort of big budget movies now, adventure movies, like take a lot of liberties in new ideas, like which should be kind of always done. But yeah, just being a part of like a legacy that's really incredible is like a big honor.
This film is really special. This one's definitely different than the last. It feels a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger scale. It's in New York. It brings us back to where the Ghostbusters originated, so that's really special. And I think it's new villain, it's new storylines, new problems that at least Phoebe has never encountered. So there's so much new, but of course it's Ghostbusters, so it's for the fans. I'm a fan, so made by fans for the fans. So there's a lot of love, but this one feels a lot more bigger. It feels more blockbuster, Ghostbusters, action. There's a lot. It's very fun. It's a lot bigger scale.
I get to do it with the originals, that whole crew. I mean, everybody that worked on this film was lovely, and I'm a fan of everybody, but to be in that setting, in that suit, shooting those proton packs next to them was surreal. It's just the craziest thing, and something I'll always treasure.
Gary and I are very much together in this one, which is exciting. The kids are older. They just keep getting older really fast. Their voices keep changing. They just keep getting taller. And we're in the firehouse, which is really thrilling. We're returning Ghostbusters to its original location.
I spoke with his dad about it, and he was very proud. He was very proud. I mean, if you grew up the son of the man who made the Ghostbusters, you have it in your bones, you have it in your blood, you have it in your house, you have it in everything you do, and he's done a great job of taking us. I'm very glad that he took on the mantle, as they say.
Great entertainment, a lot of heart, a lot of love amongst the cast, and some new critters, and new hardware, and a whole new take on the franchise, and a whole new life for the Ghostbusters.
We're back in New York, and we're back here busting ghosts and doing what we worked so hard on. It's great to be able to present it to the fan, the public, and I'm really excited about it.
Well, at first, what goes into it is passion. As a film fan, first of all, as somebody who watched that film in 1984 and felt it change my life in real time in the movie theater. Tapping into that same feeling that I had there in the theater, thinking about how I could communicate that feeling to new audiences today, and never letting go of that pure joy that Ghostbusters gives you as a movie audience.
We didn't even know if the first one was going to do anything. And when I wrote the song, I thought that was nothing. It was just supposed to be a little snippet over the library scene. And then Ivan Reitman heard it and said, "Can you make it longer?" So it's really started off as 20 seconds of music.
Ghostbusters has been part of my life since as long as I can remember. I remember being 7 years old on the set of the first one, and it's hard for me to believe that I'm now here as a producer on Ghostbusters 40 years later.
There's a lot of sort of scary moments, but it always has a levity to it because of all the comedy, which the first one did expertly well, and Gil and Jason have tried to sort of, inject that kind of DNA into these films, which, I'm very proud of.
I think it's very important to see any movie in theater. I think that that's the beauty of film. That's my favorite part about movies, is getting to see it in theater. That's what my dad and I bond over. We go to see movies in theaters every single time we can. I think that this is so special to see in theaters. To me, I'm so excited to see it in the theater tonight with the fans and be able to hear everybody and everybody's reactions. I think that it's such a special experience to be able to share watching a film with all of these people that you've never met before, and it brings everybody together and everybody's in it. It's beautiful, it's special, it's magic. I think that it's super important to see this movie in theaters. It's super important to go to theaters keep watching movies in theaters.
Ghostbusters, I think at this point, is probably a franchise that most people are familiar with, and if you've seen them, you'll recognize certain things in this one for sure. You always want to make things that you can see kind of for the first time, not having any prior knowledge of other films, and have it make sense, and I think it does. But it's I think in keeping with the other Ghostbuster films in that it's funny, it's kind of scary, it's about kind of misfits and family and being there for one another, and it's it's fun.
One of the things I love about Jason and Gil is that they really prioritize practical special effects, and as actors, there's nothing more fun than to actually be interacting with those things when we're doing it. It's not green screen acting. You have a lot to respond to, and I mean, we don't make movies like that very much anymore, and I'm so grateful I get to do it.
Well, they're going to be professional. You can like people, but when I do this for a living, if you can't do it professionally, we'll never be friends. And I am friends with all of them. I'm really happy to say.
They're fantastic. They're phenomenal. They loved the movies as kids, and so they come into it with enthusiasm, and they're playing it with intelligence and integrity. That's what we were about. So, yeah, I know it's great to pass the torch to a talented young group like this. Yeah, both as in character and out.
It's hard to believe that we're kind of all in the same room as each other, and working in the same scenes and everything. It's very surreal, but super rewarding to have all these guys around and to trust what they say.
It was really cool to be able to work with them for a second time, to be able to work with them in another film, though we have there's so many people in this film. We have so many new cast members. That's really exciting to add to the franchise. There's new Ghostbusters, there's new tools, there's new friends that we collect along the way. There's so much new stuff in this film, but it is really always a treat and an honor to share the screen with the original Ghostbusters.
Oh my gosh! So I've got Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Bill Murray. We don't have Harold Ramis, rest in peace. All the guys, and Annie Potts, who I adore. To see them all together was so extraordinary. To see them walk into the firehouse again, and it looked so similar to how it was when they left it in 1984. To be able to witness that moment with them, that's the stuff. I mean, nobody else gets to do that. It's extraordinary. I don't think it's really sunk in yet.
Those things that we're all kind of wonder about, what happens after we leave here, what's in the closet when the lights are out. But, and it's a little bit scary. We don't talk about it. And this movie sort of put it out there, and then it allowed us to kind of laugh about it. You know what I mean? It's like sort of like whistling in the dark or something. And I think we hadn't seen that, and I think that's what people really responded.
That balance, the seesaw between comedy and horror, is everything with Ghostbusters. Actually, Ghostbusters broke the mold. It was the first time a big comedy movie with the greatest comedy actors of its time could give cutting-edge special effects, top shelf, and make an audience really frightened. That thrill ride, that amusement park ride, it's the Ghostbusters DNA.
I didn't know Gil Kenan's work very well before the first movie, and I didn't know what to expect from him as a director, but I have to say, he just shows up really positive and game every day on set. He's willing to kind of play around and find things. He's willing to change things on the fly. We just had a blast working with him. He's great. But he knows what he wants, and he's very exacting. So there was no wasted time either.
You can come right into this Ghostbusters movie. I mean, we give you the whole backstory. What's exciting is we're back in New York City, where Ghostbusters belongs, and we got a whole new villain. We got new great comedians like Patton Oswalt and Kumail Nanjiani in it, and yet we have all your old favorites from, Bill and Dan and Ernie to the Spengler family of Paul Rudd and Finn Wolfhard, and I think it's got a little bit of something for everybody.
It always makes films better when the cast gets along and is able to hang out, and we had a lot of that. We had a lot of time together to hang out, just to really get to know each other on another level was really great.
It was so much fun getting to work with Carrie and Finn and Mckenna on Afterlife, on the first one that we all did together. So to be able to come back and work with them on this, as well as Kumail and Patton and James Acaster. There's so many, William Atherton. I mean, there was so many new people that it was great. I mean, everybody was super cool, and it was also really nice because when we were kind of on set, we all sat together in between takes. This doesn't normally happen on a film. Like, we had a tent where all of our chairs were set up, and we would just hang out with each other all day, every day between scenes and talk, which doesn't happen anymore because everyone has phones and trailers and things like that. So that was a really great kind of bonding experience, I think. Actually hanging out with everybody every day.
I freaking love New York. I'm so jealous of anybody that lives here. That's like my goal, is to live here for a period of time someday, and getting to be here for press, getting to be here for the premiere is always so fun. It's where the Ghostbusters are from. It's where the fan base originated. We have the hook and ladder. We have the freaking firehouse here. I love going to the firehouse, so it's special.
4 years later, it's about the same kind of feeling. With that one, I knew exactly what we had. I knew we were going to kill him. This one, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know what's going to happen. But everyone says it's good. And the guy tells me it's funny, so I take his word for it.
I think it's going to be 2 hours of joy coming up.
Bill Murray is a genius. He really is. And what comes out of him is extraordinary. And Ivan just had the sensibilities to really embrace. He knew what was funny, and I think that's the heart of the movie. I mean, and of course Danny and Harold, and just a great team. But yeah, it was very unique, and it's kind of hard to capture that.
There's plenty for everybody. I mean, it's certainly more fun for the fans if they all know the Easter eggs. There are tons of secrets and special things in the movie for the fans. But you can really just pick up anywhere, because this is really a family story at the heart, and anybody can relate to, a single mom in New York trying to make ends meet. It's really what it's about for me.
You realize that was 40 years ago. We're different people. It's a different audience than the audience we had in '84. But we knew we had to move into the future, and these are people who are more than capable, very funny people, and I'm just so proud to work with them. The franchise is in good hands.
I had the extraordinary good fortune of watching Ivan and Jason be a consummate producer and director relationship on Afterlife. And I watched them as a father and son show so much love and respect for one another. Watching Jason on this film step up as a producer and be so supportive, so effortless in his work. I know that Ivan would be proud, and I could feel Ivan's presence on set every day.
Disgusting.